Homelessness has been a concern in Richland County for over 25 years. People forced to pack up their things resort to the streets with no real place to call home. According to the South Carolina State of Homelessness Report, in 2017, over 11,000 people received homeless services. But what happens during the cold winter months? Where do they go? How do they get there? And what problems arise when so many are seeking the same things?
You get that attitude because people want to get out of the cold.
Transition South Carolina works with several other organizations to provide shelter at the Inclement Weather Center, open anytime the temperature drops below 40 degrees.
During the coldest part of the year, it's very significant that the city has a place where people can go to get out of the elements. People have died in South Carolina and in Columbia in past winters when they haven't gone and sought shelter.
But with so many out on the streets and limited space available, people like Annie have struggled just getting to the shelter.
The bus was crammed, and I mean crammed, to the point where you would think it would be a fire hazard. You know what I mean? And it was like they tried to get as many people on the bus to make one trip. That's the way I felt.
Because of her experience, Annie says that even on the coldest of nights, she'd rather find her own way of staying warm.
I had an old army blanket my father had, so I was okay out there. But it got, windy, and the wind chill, it was in the high 20s.
It's a bit easier for individuals looking for resources in the winter, but families face a more difficult challenge.
They don't take families, and they can't take children, because you can't have single men and women in the same room with children.
Because of this, most of them are forced to turn back to the streets.
We only have capacity for 17 families at the family shelter, 30 at St. Lawrence Place. So even then, if we don't have room for them, we don't have an answer to the problem.
Columbia is doing what they can as far as providing food and shelter, but Lila Ann says it needs to be recognized as a bigger issue.
I think what you're going to see next is the community having to come together to talk about what we do for these true off-the-street emergencies.
This winter is said to be one of the coldest the South's seen in a while. Hopefully the city can get more people off the streets and into warm sheets. For Carolina News, I'm McKenna Cieslak.